What's happening, everyone? Matty B here again with Beers and Beats, and this is the first episode of Tuned In, the series where I spotlight a record from my collection. For our debut, we're going to be talking about this, Amnesia by the Militia. Welcome to Tuned In. But as always, before we talk about the beats, we have to talk about the beer. Today's beer is Dawn of the Red by Ninkasi Brewing, based out of Eugene, Oregon. It is a red IPA that Ninkasi describes as a rebel IRA out to change everything. Dawn of the Red's sweet tropical tang gives way to a hoppy finish that's destined to go down in history. To get a better understanding of the tune, let's first talk about who the Militia is. The Militia is essentially a supergroup of drum and bass. It consists of Staka, DJ Friction, KT, and DJ Skinny. Shortly after forming, they created the Militia Recordings in 2003, in which they have at least 10 releases, and on top of that, they have releases on labels like Renegade Hardware, Cargo, and others. Unfortunately, info on the group is scarce at best, so it makes it extremely difficult to pinpoint exact dates on things like group formation or the formation of the label, and on top of that, many EPs that they appeared on other labels don't show up in their Discogs page. But lucky for us, Amnesia does, and we get to talk about it. Released in 2003 with Uncooked on the flip, Amnesia was the first to come out of the Militia Recordings. There are two versions, the final printed version and the white label promo, which you see here. This particular copy I bought in 2014 from a private seller on Discogs, and I've actually never really listened to it, and I don't know why. From the moving fusion style lead to the staccato bass stabs and the sampled breaks, it is an amazing track that perfectly encapsulates the 2000s tech step era. So the tune starts off with a vocal stab sampled from On the Move by the Jamaican Girls over a really dark and sinister pad. Slowly, the synth hits get faded in, followed by the portamento synth that follows the same notes. There's a single note synth stab that really starts to drive the pace forward as it's introduced. In typical early tech step fashion, we have the bass line being high-passed in as a tease of what's to come. And of course, it wouldn't be drum and bass without some kind of vocal sample from a movie, and in this case, it's an unknown movie about a nerve gas.
A nerve gas is released into the house. Primary effects of the gas are complete unconsciousness. Secondary effects are varied, mechanically, acute memory.
As the vocal continues and all of our elements build, we have a bit crushed 2-bar beat, and then finally our drop. Our drop is simple but effective. It consists of our drums, which is the assembly line break, with added elements on top, and our stabbing bass. Those two elements alone are enough to make this a dance floor smash. For some variation, we have a synth stab that is introduced. As for different elements, that is it. The rest of the track is the same parts, being filtered and faded in and out as was popular at the time. Overall, it's a fairly simple tune, but it uses its parts so effectively that it feels much larger and a lot bigger than it really is. To make this episode, I picked this record completely at random, but I'm glad I did. I've had this for 5 years, never listened to it, and had no idea how good it was. Making this video helped me rediscover how much of an absolute monster this track is, and that's part of the reason why I started this series. I slept on Amnesia, but now I won't anymore, and neither will you. Thanks for watching. Thanks for watching the first episode of Tuned In. Make sure to do the YouTube thing of liking and subscribing. Check out all the media links down below. And if you want to help support the channel, check out our Patreon with funny named tiers. We'll see you next time. What's happening, everyone? Matty B here again with Beers and Beats, and this is the first episode of Tuned In, the series where I spotlight a record from my collection. For our debut, we're going to look into this. Well, that was neat.